Good morning. I'm so sorry that I'm late, you guys. I was working on that video and I just needed to finish one more little thing before I could just walk away from it. So, anywho, I'm sorry about that. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. Yesterday, holy guacamole, that was an absolute, it started out so, um, it wasn't going so well in the beginning, because the state started out putting their expert witness on the stand. And hold on a second, I'm looking for something. Okay. The state started out with their expert witness on the stand, and it wasn't going that great. It was interrupted, which made it very, very disjointed, I think, for the jury. And I felt like that was the intention by the defense in a way, but I also felt like um, if she, if Dr. Werner had formed an opinion after the deposition upon reviewing her notes and interviews and all the material that she was provided, she should have informed both the defense, and the state, and she didn't do that, and it caused quite a stir and quite a kerfuffle. However, as we talked about yesterday, this whole situation and with surrounding the battered spouse syndrome defense. Okay. And I said that I wasn't sure how, if she admitted or testified, not admitted, that's not the right word. Scratch that. Just take that out of your mind. If she testified that Sarah Boone likely had battered spouse syndrome, what impact, if any, would that have on how the jury can find? Okay. And while I was listening yesterday, the very last question, let me find it for you guys so I can play it for you, that Mr. J asked on redirect, I think explains it the best. And I want to play that for you guys. Give me just a moment because I have to find it. This is not what I wanted. What the heck? Here we go. This is what I want. Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little disjointed this morning, doing way too much at one time when I should be focusing on the one thing that I need to be focusing on, which is the stream. All right. So let me find it because I want you guys to see it. It's important. All right. Hang on. Because it went so bad yesterday. Hold on. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. This is not what I wanted. I want to find the question Mr. J asked her. Here it is right here. All right. because this is important. And I think this actually sums it up so much better than I can say it. So, and then we're going to watch some other things that happened yesterday and talk about that. All right, here we go. This is redirect from Mr. J from yesterday. Okay. And I don't want to fast forward it because you guys know how when I try to skip, how sometimes I get too overzealous and I skip too much and then we miss important things and I got to go back. So sometimes, even though it's a little annoying to hear this like white noise or whatever, it's, in my opinion anyway, less annoying than if I were to skip, miss it, and then skip again. So here we go. We're just gonna watch. Oh my goodness. Are you guys doing okay this morning? I want you guys to brace yourselves for what's coming up next. This part isn't as, this isn't any.
Objections overruled.
All right, here we go.
Would you consider somebody's alcohol use and level of intoxication in evaluating the credibility of them as a historian? And you were asked about whether or not you did any testing for post-traumatic stress disorder.
Correct.
And you didn't.
Correct.
You already indicated, however, you believe that Ms. Boone meets the criteria for battered spouse syndrome.
That's correct.
Again, that doesn't change your opinion that you gave when talking with me on direct examination.
Object, asked and answered.
Overruled.
Specifically about this question about the testing that you did not perform. Did this lack of testing have any change or effect on your opinion as to whether or not battered spouse syndrome applied to the facts of this case?
No.
You were questioned about insanity on cross-examination. You recall that?
Yes.
Would you agree that simply because somebody is mentally ill and meets the criteria for diagnosis such as schizophrenia, bipolar, any of those psychotic or mood disorders, that doesn't necessarily make a person legally insane?
Correct. The two aren't equal.
Likewise, even if somebody meets the criteria for battered spouse syndrome, does that mean every action they take against their intimate partner is justified?
Correct. That's not they wouldn't be equal.
So even if you do have battered spouse syndrome, even if you are in an intimately violent relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean any action you take against your partner is justified.
That's correct.
No other questions?
State, can this witness be released?
Okay. The reason I wanted to play that last part is because that's what's important. That's what it all comes down to. The two things are not mutually exclusive. Okay. The jury, can find that yes, Sarah Boone does have battered spouse syndrome, but they can also find at the same time that while she has the battered spouse syndrome, her actions were not justifiable. And that's what's important, because they are not mutually exclusive. You can have battered spouse syndrome, and yet your actions in the moment, which is what this trial is about. It is not it's not about all of, it really boils down to what was Sarah Boone doing? What were her actions? What was her state of mind in that moment on February 23rd, 2020? Do all of those other factors come into play as to how she may have been feeling or why she was feeling this way? Sure. But the jury can find that she has battered spouse syndrome, but her actions taken on that day, those specific actions are not justifiable. And that is what is important. But before, and we're going to go into that. But before we do, I want to say thank you to Neat Noodle for being a member for 12 months. I appreciate that, babe. I appreciate your support of me and the channel very, very much. And also, before we get started on this very triggering testimony, I would like for you guys to hear a word from our sponsor.
And Kai, when you're on Jen Lou's channel, what do you do with the like button?
Smash, smash, smash. Yeah.
All right. If you haven't done so already, please give your girl a thumbs up before we get into this video that I'm about to play for you guys. Oh, Nay, dear, you didn't have to do that, babe. Nay gifted 5 memberships. If you are the lucky recipient of one of those 5 memberships, please thank Nadie. She is incredibly generous, incredibly talented, and I appreciate her so, so very much. Also, the holidays are upon us. We're approaching the end of October, which means for most people, Thanksgiving is just the beginning of the holiday season. It's the start of the Christmas season. So, and all of that. So if you need stocking stuffers, if you happen to be at work and your company is going to have a Christmas party and our gift exchange, and there's that one employee that you kind of know, but you don't know that great, and you draw their name, Nadie's wax melts are perfect. You can get gift cards, all the things. So please, please, if check out, the Nightbot has dropped her link, and if you will not be disappointed. I promise. Okay, now I'm not going to play all of the things that happened yesterday because it is the body cam footage, and you guys can find that. You guys can watch that on your own. And when I'm done with this video, I'll drop the link to Law and Crime Trials, who put it all together. What I will say about the body cam footage. Okay, so the body cam footage was played in context with the 911 calls, and it was also played with multiple views. So these were prior domestic violence incidents. And obviously, there's more than one officer who arrives on scene and takes statements from both parties, any witnesses, etc. Right? Well, the body cam footage that from the 2018 and 2019 calls, because there were multiple in 2019 for sure. We've only really seen one view, one officer's body cam publicly, or at least I have. Is it Nay's birthday? Happy birthday, Nay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Nadie, my boo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, babe. Love you, Nay. Oh, tomorrow? Okay, this is is what happens when I don't. Well, it's early and I'll sing it to you tomorrow too. How about that? It's your birthday weekend. Happy birthday, babe. Okay. So I've not seen any other views. I don't, I've looked, but I couldn't find any. And it really put things into context. And what I will tell you from my own observation, my own personal opinion about watching all of that put together with the 911 calls, with the different views from different officers, body cam footage, all of that, it painted a very, very different picture than just the single view body cam footage that we had seen or that I had seen previously. I don't want to lump you guys in case you've seen other views. For me, one of, in my opinion, the most overriding themes to the body cam footage that we haven't seen is George's voice. What did George say? What did George do? And I will tell you that what I saw, was somebody who was quite confused about why he was under arrest, somebody who was not belligerent. And I want to add a caveat to that. It is possible that George could be completely belligerent prior to law enforcement arriving and then speak very calmly when they get there. I don't think that's the case after watching the next set of videos that I'm about to play for you. The other thing that I noticed is, especially in the very last body cam footage from 2019, I believe August, that was played yesterday, this is the footage where Sarah calls Brian to bring over her spare key, and they find George upstairs. We didn't see the interaction between law enforcement and George, okay? When they showed that yesterday, we did get to see it. And the officer was speaking to George, and George said, something to the effect of, she hits me and I get arrested. I'm the bad person in this situation because of the no contact order. The judge had issued a no contact order, 2 of them actually, in June, and George violated them twice. And the officer noticed marks, I think, on George from what that happened a couple of times where there was marks on George. Anyway, I remember very distinctly George being very hesitant to speak with the officer and tell the officer what happened. And the officer said to George, I'm here to help you, but I can't help you if you don't tell me what happened. And you could see the conflict in George. I could. That he wanted to tell what happened, but didn't want. But his loyalty to Sarah overrode that, and he didn't. Conversely, all of the interactions that were recorded on the various body cam footage from various law enforcement officers show something very different with Sarah's behavior than George's. Sarah couldn't wait to tell. And then what she would do is try to not tell. There were some incidents where she was gloating. She said he didn't think I would do it. Their behaviors were diametrically opposed. And I have to say, while the photographs of Sarah's injuries are horrible to look at, she did have some awful, awful injuries, and nobody deserves that, okay? And I want to make that very, very clear. I don't give a rat's fat kneecap what either one of those two said to each other. Neither one of them deserved to be physically attacked. Period. That's it. That's all. And I think that there's a lesson to be learned in this case, just like there was a lesson to be learned from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. While we teach our sons not to hit women, we also need to teach our sons not to take being hit by women. That if a woman hits them, that is absolute. If in a partner in a relationship, that if a woman hits them, it is domestic violence, it is abuse, and they do need to report it. And there isn't any shame in that. We need to be as protective of our sons as we are of our daughters. That's just my little rant. Oh, happy belated birthday, Tiffany. I'm sorry I missed it, babe. Happy birthday to you. Happy late birthday to you. Happy late birthday, Tiffany Crockett. Happy late birthday to you. Okay. And any other October birthdays I miss, I'm sorry, and you don't want me to sing anymore. So that was my takeaway. To me, after listening to both of the expert witnesses testify, in my opinion, frankly, if Sarah Boone had battered spouse syndrome, George did too. And that was my takeaway from all of that. All right, now for this, we're going to watch. These are videos that were found on Sarah Boone's phone. Okay, they come from her phone. All right, let's play these.
Next is a video starting with 3BB0C. Metadata shows date modified 12/29, 12:36 p.m. of 2019.
Yeah. So you remember this. So you remember this. Are you drunk right now? How much alcohol did you drink? Enough to be drunk. You're slurring your words. You're sleeping up against the door right now. Yeah, because I want to be next to you. Did I not tell you to not bother me? Yes, ma'am. So what is it you come up and do? What time is it right now? It's 1:20 a.m. Okay. I haven't bothered you since I just want to sleep. But didn't I tell you before at 9:30 to not bother me at all? Yes. Because why? Yeah, I thought we were too long. Nope. Because I've been up since 4 a.m. since yesterday when you fucked with me. Yes, ma'am.
Now I need to break in here for a moment because obviously fair use commentary. This situation about sleep was an overriding theme present throughout Sarah's entire testimony, whether she was on cross or direct. Okay. George kept her from sleeping. All she wanted to do was go to bed. Hopefully we could go to bed at a reasonable hour. Bed, night, sleep, 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 sleep. Okay. And yet she's confronting him in his face, voice raised. He appears to have been asleep. This is just, I'm going to keep going.
I know how much vodka was in that bottle. And what's the bottle now? Kind of to throw it out. What does that mean? One more drink. The bottle's empty. I know how much vodka was in there. And then for two people to have a really good time. And who drank it? I want it to be documented that I'm leaving you, which means that you're getting out. You're getting out. You're getting out. Nobody's leaving nobody. Stop.
You see, it's my opinion based on these videos, that likely remember how we watched the baseball bat video, right? And we could not understand what the purpose of recording that was. We couldn't figure out. It didn't make any sense. I think this is why it didn't make any sense. I think that there is more than likely more to those videos that are no longer on Sarah's phone. And because so much time had passed, if she deleted them would they be recoverable? In theory, yes, but that's dependent on several things, okay? Once a video is deleted from your phone, it isn't deleted forever. It's there unless and until it is overwritten. And I suspect that there are parts to that TV video that ultimately were deleted and overwritten, and that is why they were not recoverable. And that is my opinion of why that video makes no sense. I would imagine it's something along the lines of this, that there is in between conversation, in between yelling, in between direct Sarah being the yeller, Sarah being the aggressor, Sarah being the one directing the video. And we're missing parts because they've been deleted. That is what I think. All right, here we go. But also I want you to notice, for somebody who's so aggressive and so belligerent, he actually moves away from Sarah.
And the reason why you were even downstairs and weak enough to get drunk was because you don't give a shit about me. You don't listen to what I say. Special things that I keep on my front page of my phone, so I remember to tell you about it because of how special and fun it is.
She speaks to him like a child.
I always bother you. I always bore you. You don't listen to me. Yesterday was my first day at work, remember? And I ended up 90% hearing about your day and 10% about mine.
Now, this is another theme. And I have to pause for this because, first of all, to sit and watch it uninterrupted is too much. And second of all, because obviously under fair use, I have to provide commentary and I can't let it go too long. You don't listen to me. Now, one of the things that's one of the things that she testified to was the reason that she wanted George, one of the reasons she wanted George to stay in the suitcase, because she finally had an opportunity to speak to him where he could listen to her about how she felt and about how his behavior made her feel. It seems to me that George actually listens quite well. In fact, he listens quite frequently. In fact, she woke him up, but yet she is angry with him, and I cannot figure it out. Also, notice where he is. He is upstairs. He was in front of their bedroom door. Now, she has testified that she used to have to put a 200-pound dresser up against the door. And in front of the dresser, she put a nightstand so that the nightstand would be in between the door, the dresser, then the bed, right? So it would be even harder for him to get in. Clearly, that wasn't one of these nights. He didn't seem like he was breaking in. That he was trying. I don't even know how she woke up, because the way that the camera comes on, it's hard to tell if like she stepped over him and then like she came out of the bedroom, stepped over him and then recorded, or if she came from downstairs and did this.
Doesn't bother me or anything, you know. So sometimes you just you overwhelm me. That's the problem. You overwhelm me.
Yeah,
I
Laura
told
is
you about
very
my first day at
overwhelming.
work.
No, dude, you just overwhelm me about every other thing too. First day of work.
So I'm overwhelming you by telling you about the fourth highest paid baseball player. That's a client of ours.
Okay, so there you go, y'all. She worked.
I'm not starstruck.
I don't even know who the guy is.
I don't need.
So the reason why, so you fully admit now that you didn't care and you did brush me off in the car, midway sentence, because you're not into baseball.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying.
I want to go to sleep. Go downstairs.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I'm leaving you. And I'm going to try and cancel plane tickets.
No, that's,
Because I don't do special things for people like you that are doing this. Like, to me, after I asked you at 1:21 in the morning, I wanted to be asleep. I wanted to stay asleep, which is why I got into bed at 8:30. I told you not to step foot in the bedroom. So what do? Nonetheless, you're drunk. The amount of alcohol, I know how much was alcohol, I know how much was in there. That's why I could smell you in the bed before you actually got me up. I can smell you from here.
I mean, this is just awful. It's awful. I'll say this as far as George goes and his I think that George, first of all, is a very small framed man. That's number one. I do think that he is underweight, but it's hard to tell. Do I think he's eating healthy? Probably not. But I also think that there are people who it wouldn't matter how much they ate, how often they ate, how many calories they take. They just have an incredibly high metabolism and are just naturally thin like that. And so I do think that probably, the alcohol and not, eating like he should have probably contributed to him being thin. But I also think he was actually naturally thin. Do you know what I mean? I think he had a very, very high metabolism. I don't know. I mean, it appears to me that she controlled everything. So it's possible that she controlled his food. I can't imagine that. I mean, she controlled everything. All right, here we go.
You're despicable.
I'm not despicable, I'm not even doing anything.
Leave me alone.
Okay.
You're not gonna remember shit. Okay,
Yeah, okay, well, I'm not doing nothing right now.
get away from me.
Get away from me. You confronted him.
Get away from me.
I'm not doing nothing to you.
You do everything to me all the time. All the time. Heartache and pain is what you cause me. Heartache and pain.
How's that?
Keep going. And I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. You get on your fucking little bike and go to fucking work tomorrow. Don't look at me. Don't come close to me. Don't touch me. Do you understand?
What do you mean?
As of this moment, and until I can get you out,
Get the fuck out of here.
I dare you. Yep, look at it.
Get the fuck out.
Wait, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. I'm a straight bloody murder.
And there it is. We talked about this yesterday. We've talked about this through the entire trial. Is it possible that Sarah would provoke, taunt, belittle, badger George, and abuse him verbally, and in retaliation, which is not justified and it's not acceptable and it's not okay, did he assault her physically? And now we know. That's likely what happened more than once. Although it's also just as likely, as we saw, when you go back and watch those body cam footage videos, that sometimes those bruises on Sarah, specifically like her arms, the ones that look like finger marks, were him trying to keep her from hitting him.
Scream bloody murder. I will scream bloody murder. Get away from me.
Dude, nobody's doing anything.
I'm gonna fucking hurt you.
Nobody's doing anything. And you're filming it.
Let me go.
And there it is again. I'm going to fucking hurt you. Who's the aggressor again, Sarah? You were terrified. You lived your life in constant fear, walking on eggshells, doing everything and anything you could and could possibly think of to keep him from coming after you physically. Okay.
Nobody's doing anything.
I'm asking you, George, to get away from me. Please get away from me. Get away from me.
Yeah, I am. That was your function, dude. Malfunction. No, your malfunction is you, dude.
Okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Holy shit, the whole hallway just reeks of you up here. First it's shit, now it's alcohol. Don't step foot in this bedroom. I can't even breathe, like, it's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting.
Keep filming when it's looking like. Good night, Sarah. Love you.
I don't love you. I don't like you. I don't want to be with you.
Next video starts 456. That's the only file that starts with that. Date modified metadata, 12/29/2019, 4:04 p.m.
Okay, so I will agree with Lily Six Ninja. Yeah, he did need to leave. He should have left. He should have left many times. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't. And now he is dead because he didn't leave.
And I'm not gonna have no Hindenburg situation, no Titanic situation, okay? So it's gonna be a good day. Yes, I'm missing my mustache right now. And later on, everything's gonna go off. Truth, facts. Truth and facts. All of this is gonna be missing later on. We'll take another video again later on when it happens. Love y'all, whoever watches this video.
No, that's not approved.
The FDA says it's approved.
So it's gonna be a good day all day.
Yes, it is. Even when
All
I
day.
shave all of this
All
off.
day.
Yes, even when I shave all of this
All
off.
day.
It's gonna be an amazing day.
It's what time right now?
Shaboing
I
boing.
would say 9:30. 7 o'clock maybe.
Shaboing boing. That's what we're doing later on. Shaboing boing. You can stop filming now.
Not good enough.
It's gonna be a great day. Today's a great day to have a great day. Boom. Cut. Somebody come in with the. Can somebody come in with the? Can you not?
Now, I have to wonder what is going through Sarah Boone's, not Sarah's mind. I'm telling you right now, we're seeing this for exactly how it is, and Sarah is seeing it as See, you see what a monster he is? You see how terrible he is? He was drunk all the time. You see what I had to endure? You see what I had to put up with? He's the worst. That's what's going on in Sarah's mind. She is sitting there, pleased as punch, thinking that she has got this beat. Those are way too many. Those are the pun was not intended, and I'm sorry about that. But that is exactly what's going on in her brain. She thinks that this is over, that the jury is going to see this and see what an awful, horrible, terrible person George is. And she's going to walk. The thing is, these videos were in discovery. They're on her phone. They came from her phone. The defense knows that these videos exist. And they had to have known that there's at least a 1% chance that the state is going to play these. And they got nada. I mean, I would be.
Next file is image_093.mov. Metadata date modified 1/3/2020, 2:48 p.m.
Somebody better treat on ask them not to play with it.
Oh, before I forget, I want to give you some, I just want to talk to you guys just a little bit about this. I wish that George would have left too. Did you know that the most dangerous time for a person to leave the most dangerous time for a person is when they leave their abuser? That's when they're more, if they are going to be killed, that's when they're killed, is when they're leaving. Do you know that a battered spouse tries at least 7 times to leave, meaning they leave for a little while, they come back, on the average 7 times before they're actually successful and leave permanently? That's important things to remember, because those are the statistics and the things that the defense wants us to remember. And I think we should remember them. And I think we should apply them. I think we should apply that knowledge equally to both parties. Not just Sarah, especially because this was Sarah's home.
Because I told him that I was going to go to shit.
This is also another theme that occurs in these videos, that she's documenting them. These are the videos that she wanted the cops to look at in the interrogation room. These are the videos that she's talking about. She claims this is evidence of abuse perpetrated on her by George. And a lot of these videos start out or end with talking about either it being a good day, or it's going to go be a bad day, or like this one, and this is the night's going to go to shit. And it's almost like Sarah, it's like a fulfilling prophecy. She says the night is going to go to shit, and she does everything in her power to make sure that the night goes to shit. Oh, she can't change the screen, Jen, and not push play. Bingo.
Next file is image img_0975.mov. Metadata shows date modified January 19th, 2020, 2:58 p.m.
Time.
Sirens, 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 sirens. Sirens and silence and silence. And this cop car.
How about you get an umbrella and call me Camille underneath it?
Yeah, how about we forget about that? No, we won't.
I'll never be.
How about we keep going on
All right, I'm going to pause this there. We're going to come back to this at the next break. There's only, 5 minutes of videos left, but there's multiple videos, and they're in the courtroom discussing jury instructions. And I want us to be able to hear that. So I'm going to switch us over there. Oops, hold on a second. All right, here we go.
Now I'm confused. I don't know that I have a 34-page document from them last night. There was an attachment. There was an email at 12:06.
Hang on. Let me make sure.
36F, separate red lines, 36G, separate red lines, 8.9, culpable negligence, red line separates.
Give me a moment. Then it was what was sent at 11:31 yesterday.
That 34-page document
Okay.
I have. 31. I don't know if it's 34. It says 31 to me.
The reason I want to listen to this with you guys a little bit is because
I have it as 34.
these jury instructions are going to be very, 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 very important. Okay. And so if you've been following the Leilani Simon trial, okay, the jury instructions in that case are also going to be very important because there was not testimony specifically of exactly what happened to Quentin Simon, what it is exactly that Leilani Simon did. So a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be like Casey Anthony. We've already talked about that. That was a result of poor jury instructions. And so, no, I think from that point on, defense attorney, well, not so much, it worked out for the defense, but prosecuting attorneys paid attention to that and a lesson was learned. So I think that in her case, it isn't going to be an instruction that the jury must find the actual cause of death. What they have to find is that the manner of death was homicide and that Leilani is the one who killed Quentin, and that's it. Okay. Much like in Casey Anthony, had there been that special instruction that it wasn't necessary for the state to prove cause of death, only the manner of death, Casey Anthony would not have been acquitted. Okay. That's why, and this is going to be important too, because this is not a straightforward second-degree murder case. They've introduced the element of battered spouse syndrome defense. And so it needs to be clear for the jury. And I want it here that, especially where it comes to the jury instructions around the battered spouse syndrome. So we're just going to listen in. They should be starting actual court in any minute. Yes, there are only 6 jurors, 4 alternates. Actually, they might be down to 3 now because there was a juror that was dismissed.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes,
Hi,
sir.
Shamina.
Can I have Ms. Henderson explain how she sent the document?
Who?
Fine by me.
Your Honor, yesterday morning,
Oh.
I sent red line instructions from the defense based off the document you had sent to us yesterday morning. And then last night, we approached and I had asked if that format was okay for you. I believe Mr. J had said, could the defense send separate 3.6, 3.F, so it'd be easy to incorporate in your final instruction.
And that's what was sent at 12:05 last night. All right.
Just for more convenience for you.
Understood. Okay.
Thank you.
But the balance of the instructions, because that just addresses those. What you just advised only speaks to the 3.6, 3.6G instructions. Correct. Okay, all right. So I'm talking about the balance of the instructions that may or may not be at issue.
Yes, sir, that was the balance of instructions that are not at issue, those are what was sent in 11:30.
Okay, all right.
My confusion is the court is indicating they have a 34-page document.
Yes, sir.
I have a 31-page document that was emailed to us by Ms. Henderson at 11:32 in the morning.
Are you looking at October 24 at 11:31 a.m.? Subject, defense proposed jury instructions in red line format?
I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm looking at the email correspondence of October 24, 2024, 11:31 a.m.
They're just talking
Subject,
about
defense
jury
proposed
instructions,
in red line
Nicholas.
format. Is it possible that you don't have your track changes are off? And maybe that's why. That's the difference.
Basically, there's some,
In Word.
they're hashing out what the culpable negligence part of the jury instructions are. And Miss Henderson, who's sitting behind Mr. Henderson here, whenever anybody in the back row speaks from this, from the defense side of the table, they're not mic'd. And even though that I have the volume boosted, that's the best I can do. But that's what they're hashing out right now is the last of these jury instructions. They're finalizing them, and that's pretty well it. So let's go ahead and skip a little bit forward. And see where we're at. I would imagine that they're going to be bringing the jury in shortly. Mr. J has a 180-page, I believe it is, PDF that he is going to read from, and then he will be resting his case. The defense has wisely, as of last night, I don't know about how it's going to be this morning, Mr. Owens indicated they would not be doing a filing or requesting a SIR rebuttal. So I believe that that's probably for the best. I don't know that. I don't think that after. I don't know what Mr. Owens could put on as a rebuttal that would overcome those videos. You know, and we talked about this at the beginning of this trial, that the suitcase videos were going to be very, very hard for the jury to overcome. It is, Kimberly, they keep saying it pronounced a SIR rebuttal. I'm not exactly even sure if that's how you pronounce it, but usually in the state of Florida anyway, the state gets a rebuttal case, but the defense does not unless they request it. And it's at the judge's discretion. So even if the defense requests a rebuttal, the ability to put on a rebuttal case, it doesn't mean that it will be granted. It's basically just the defense's rebuttal case. And Jesse, agreed. I think that these other videos tell their own story. I think if we were to take the videos and only the videos, right? And if we could only use the videos to tell the story of the relationship that existed between George and Sarah and ending with the suitcase videos, no narration, no nothing, just those videos. I think that the videos sum it up about how their relationship was culminating in the final suitcase videos. That's what I think. And I would like to apologize right here and right now, Mr. J, Mr. Cacciatore. I was losing hope yesterday. I'm not going to lie.
Both parties have what was provided to the court yesterday, a 34-page document, which includes the defense's red line.
I lost a little bit of faith. I was a little concerned, and now I feel bad. I apologize. I should not have doubted you. My bad.
Moving to page 2 of 34, instruction 3.2, statement of the charge. State,
No objection.
defense.
No objection.
Moving to page 3 of 34, 7.1, introduction to homicide. Those 3 paragraphs, any objection?
No objection from the state.
No objection.
Moving to the next portion, justifiable homicide in the singular paragraph, any objection, state?
No objection.
I know, I'm glad I'm not the only one. So I would like to say, Mr. J, Mr. Cacciatore, on behalf of the Ward Case Studies, your hostess, Jen Liu, and my fantastic chat, we're sorry that we had doubts. We apologize that we allowed those doubts to creep in and had some concern. Oops, our bad. You pulled it out. Those videos speak for themselves, and we have regrets. We wish that we hadn't doubted you, and for that we apologize. All right.
Is a lesser included?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would that not need to be included here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so is the only addition to this, the balance of the 3.4 instruction would be correct with the exception of the last sentence, which would read, the lesser crimes, plural, indicated in the definition of second-degree murder is manslaughter and followed by culpable negligence.
Yes, so it should go to R.
All right, they're allowed to find 4 lesser included charges.
State?
Fantastic.
No evidence to support a misdemeanor culpable negligence lesser included offense for a category 2 lesser to be included in the jury instructions. Both must be supported by the charging instrument as well as the evidence in the case. There is no evidence in this case that he only suffered culpable negligence. The crime for culpable negligence with death is manslaughter. Culpable negligence isn't even a category 1 lesser of manslaughter, it's a category 2 lesser.
Uh-oh.
By inference, there must be some evidence that her culpable negligence did not result in death.
Okay, you can be charged with culpable negligence, but you can't be
What's your
charged with
response to that?
culpable negligence if the result is death. Got it. Owens, pay attention. Henderson, one of you guys at the defense
Judge,
table,
the
speak.
instruction that we're asking for is 8.9. It reads to prove the crime of culpable negligence. The state must prove the following 2 elements beyond a reasonable doubt. 1, Sarah Boone exposed Jorge Torres Jr. to personal injury. And 2, she did so through culpable negligence. As to the fact that there is evidence of culpable negligence as to the case in the fact that Ms. Boone, while Mr. Torres is still in the suitcase, goes upstairs. As to it being charged, it's a category 2 lesser included that's available to the defense. Defense can get category 2 lesser included offenses as long as there's evidence to support the category 2, and there is evidence in this case to support the category 2 lesser included. That's
And
why we're asking.
any other further argument, Mr. J?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. At this point in time, the court is inclined to include the culpable negligence as a lesser included. We'll get to the instruction momentarily. Any other revisions to the 3.4 instruction, defense?
No, Your Honor.
Moving now to 7.7 manslaughter, there are some objections. The defense is now objecting to paragraph 2C, the death of Jorge Torres was caused by the culpable negligence of Sarah Boone. So how could you ask for a culpable negligence instruction and then object to 2C in the manslaughter instruction? Logically having trouble understanding that.
Your Honor, because the defense has no logic, and what they do is a lot of razzle dazzle and confusion.
It's different from the state because it's not alleged in their information.
Does not the instruction say give 2A, 2B, and or 2C depending upon allegations and proof?
Yes, the allegations would be the information.
Okay. Any response, Mr. J?
Judge, it's a category 1 lesser. All the theories are included in that. The language does not need to be included in the charging instrument. And quite frankly, it's not inconsistent with the language in the charging instrument. She's accused of having a depraved mind when killing him. And what the evidence has also shown is that she was heavily intoxicated when she made this decision. That supports the conclusion for a trier of fact to reach that this was out of culpable negligence. And if they reject our argument that it was done knowingly and out of hatred, ill will, spite, etc.
Any other argument, sir?
No other argument.
At this point in time, the court is going to overrule the defense's objection as to the objection to 2C in the manslaughter instruction, including the final 2 paragraphs of what the definition of culpable negligence is on the bottom of page 7 of 34. It seems like it's stipulated between the parties that 2B, Sarah Boone intentionally procured an act that caused the death of George Boone, should be Jorge Torres, is not applicable. Is that correct, state? Is that correct, defense? Okay, thank you. And also, since 2B is not applicable, the to procure definition will not be provided. Any other questions regarding the 7.7 instruction?
No, Your Honor.
No objection to what they suggest is the definition of culpable negligence.
With regard to the
Second lesser?
The second lesser? Yeah, thank you.
No objection to that proposed instruction.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. What is the instruction number for the culpable negligence instruction? I think it's 8.9, isn't it?
8.9.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving now to page 10 of 34, 3.6D, voluntary intoxication. Does this now need to address culpable negligence? Or is that only?
Hang on just a second.
To add it.
So, okay. Lily, Six Ninja asks, how could she know? She passed out, she went upstairs, and then forgot him in the suitcase. So, Sarah, when she zipped him in the suitcase, it started out as a game. They were playing, they were laughing, they were joking. I don't think that's how it started, but I do think it started. I think she told him to get in the suitcase, quite frankly. I think that once he did get in the suitcase and she zipped him up in the suitcase, I think she taunted him and belittled him because she does say, I was joking about how small he is, that he could even fit in a suitcase. But that's neither here nor there because I can't prove any of that stuff. So we're just going to base it on the evidence that's been submitted thus far. All right. So they were having a good day. He hid in the suitcase with the suitcase unzipped. She came downstairs, saw that he was in the suitcase and zipped it up. Okay. At that moment, she didn't intend for anything to happen negative, that she didn't. And I don't think that Sarah ever actually thought that George would die in that suitcase. However, she has admitted on the stand in her testimony that she knew that he was uncomfortable. She wanted him to be uncomfortable, making it punitive. where I don't think that this falls in the negligent culpability category is in the amount of times that George Torres told her he couldn't breathe. That's where it's no longer culpable negligence. And she might have gotten away with it and it been culpable negligence, but for those videos. Those videos make it clear that she was made aware that he could not breathe. And I will agree with you. She didn't force him to drink. There was a series of decisions made by both George and Sarah all throughout that day. A series of decisions. Some of them poor, some of them not poor. But at the end of the day, when she heard him beg to get out of that suitcase because he couldn't breathe, that is the time when it stopped being culpable negligence. And she taunted him. That's when it stopped. And that is based solely on the letter of the law. Not my feelings, not my emotions, none of that. I can separate all of that out and just simply look at the facts of the case. And the fact is, it stopped being culpable negligence when that video was recorded.
When the defendant made the statement, she had been threatened in order to get her to make it. And 2, whether anyone had promised her anything in order to get him to make it. That should be revised to the feminine. Any objection?
Mayor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
That is the form instruction created by the Florida Supreme Court, ma'am. What has been added is the next paragraph, which reads, law enforcement is not legally required to ask a suspect whether he or she wants to talk to law enforcement after Miranda warnings are read to a suspect. This is, however, one of the factors you may consider whether the defendant's statements were voluntarily made. Similar to other conversations we've had this past week, ma'am, I don't want to know about specifics of any conversations that you had with you and your attorneys, just simply whether or not those conversations have been had. Did you and your lawyers discuss the proposed language that I just read to you?
Yes.
Do you have any questions with regard to that proposed language?
No.
Are you in agreement with this additional language being added to this defense?
Yes.
All right, thank you, or to this instruction rather. Thank you. The last sentence read, if you conclude the defendant's out-of-court statement, was not freely and voluntarily made, you should disregard it. Any other clarifications to that instruction statement?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense?
Judge, in looking at it, it says in the final part, consider whether the defendant's statements, can we replace and put whether Sarah Boone's statements?
Where are we specifically, sir?
In the state special that I have no objection to, it says, this is however one of the factors you may consider whether the defendant's statements, if we could have Sarah Boone's statements, were voluntarily made.
The language used all throughout the instruction is the defendant.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the state on that.
Okay.
Rule 3.10, or I'm sorry, instruction 3.10, rules for deliberation, page 28 of 34. Looks like the parties agree that paragraph 7 is not applicable.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
All right, that would change paragraph 8 to 7. Any other revisions to 3.10? Defense?
None from the defense.
Moving to 3.11, cautionary instruction. Defense?
No objection.
The court then interlineated on page 30, the 2.7 closing argument form instruction. Any objection to that instruction state?
No.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Moving now to 3.12 verdict instruction, page 31 of 34, state,
No objection.
defense.
No objection.
Moving now to 32 of 34, instruction 3.13, submitting case to jury. The only other question I have for the parties is with regard to, I believe it was Exhibit A, the suitcase. Are we going to send that back, or is that going to be viewable upon writing similar to the baseball bat?
No reason that can't be sent back.
Okay, agreed?
Agree.
Okay, all right. Is this instruction acceptable to the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. And then moving to, that concludes the, except for the 3.6F and 3.6G instruction, that includes the verdict or the instructions. I'll have Anita clean that up and send it to the parties so that we have a cleaner red line to work with. The only other question that I think we can address this morning is the verdict form. I received the defense's verdict form. And it looks like manslaughter is no longer being sought in the verdict form. Manslaughter was struck out and it was just culpable negligence.
Under the defense's part, yes.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
So how do we want to address the verdict form then? Because if we're giving instructions on manslaughter, certainly needs to be included in the verdict form.
I understand, Judge, but the defense isn't requesting manslaughter, but if it's instructed, it has to be in the verdict.
So the verdict form would read, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of the lesser included offense of manslaughter. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of the lesser included offense of culpable negligence. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Is that acceptable to the state?
Yes, Your
Is that acceptable to the defense?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right. Similarly, I'll have Ms. Barrios make those revisions and submit them to the parties as soon as possible. Anything else, state, we need to address before, Bruce, do we have everybody as of this time? Everybody's here? Thank you, sir. Other than the 3.6 instructions and the state's request for other instructions, which I think we'll have to table for now,
Yes, sir.
are we prepared to go ahead and bring in our jury at this time?
Only thing I wanted to bring to the court and the defendant's attention was apparently yesterday at lunch, there was some sort of domestic violence event out in the quad. The coworker indicated that without believing it was any particular jurors in this case, that he did see people with juror badges in and about the area. So I don't know if that warrants inquiry by anybody.
Defense?
I think it should be mentioned.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Just to see,
Sure.
we spent all this time, we've got a bunch of alternates. Let's utilize them, but I do have an issue.
Yes. What do we got?
I think the state attorney, the last piece of evidence is they extracted from Sarah Boone's phone a bunch of pages of text messages. And I believe their intent is to introduce all those text messages, which are quite a few, but I think they want to read specifically out a few to the jury. My only concern is I don't know which ones they're going to read out. And under the rule of completeness, if there's a thread where it needs to be put in context, we would ask that all of that be read. So I don't know exactly what their point is.
Mr. J, any response?
It's going back with them, just like I told them during some of the body worn cameras. Only some of it's published. It's all going to be there for them to use. I do not intend on reading all 108 pages. I don't intend on trying to delineate what contextually is one conversation from the other. I think it's just fair to say this is all going back with you. You're going to have a scrub laptop. You're going to review it all.
Okay. Mr. Owens, you can make any objections you deem necessary at the time and we'll address it. Because it's just hard for me to say what should or should not be. I understand the state's position, but if it's something that's you believe in the rule of completeness should be provided at that time, regardless of it going back, we'll address it.
It's going to be about 40 minutes worth of reading text messages. Are we going to have some people come in to read the messages?
Again, I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I did not practice reading what I'm going to be reading in the mirror. Number two, no, I don't understand why a witness would be called. It's in evidence. lawyers can now publish them.
Anything further, Mr. Rollins? Okay, all right.
Not on that issue, I would like to take like 5 minutes to use the bathroom.
Sure, we can do that. Okay, so I don't want to highlight that it was a domestic violence event. So are the parties, is it acceptable to the parties to inquire of if anyone heard or participated, got any information, or observed anything of the event that transpired yesterday afternoon in the courtyard? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't suggest.
Agreed. Okay, got a thumbs up from Mr. Owens. All right, we'll take a 10-minute recess. We'll just plan on bringing back here at 9:30. We'll bring the jury in at that time. Thank you.
Okay, now, there's a couple of things that I want to highlight, which I have now scrolled right past. One of them is this term, Chico. Okay, now I'm Mexican, and I'm not speaking for all Mexicans. I'm only speaking for this Mexican. I think that word, like any other word, whether it's spoken in English or Spanish or any other language, context is key. There are words that we use in the English language that have different meanings dependent on how it is used, the tone in which it's used, and all of that. And I think that the word in and of itself, Chico, is not necessarily a derogatory term. However, there are ways in which this word can be used in a derogatory manner. And so I think that it's important to understand the context in which it was used, because it can be used. It means, the word Chico means boy, okay? And we know that it can be used derogatorily. That word, the word boy, can be derogatory, particularly if you're calling a man, I'm talking about a grown man, a boy. And so I think it depends on how it's used. And I want to find Lily's comment, because Lily, you're making valid points about the circumstances and the things that we saw in those videos, right? And you're 100% correct. On the stairs, George did get violent with her. I do think that it would be we will never know everything that happened, all of the ins and outs, all of the things that occurred in a 3.5-year relationship between two people. Okay. Some of which was captured on video, whether that be body cam footage, whether that be videos that were taken by the parties on their phones or another device. We'll never fully know what happened. Okay. But what we do know, and what has been shown, is that, and nobody is arguing this point, I don't think, that George did get violent with Sarah on more than one occasion. It's unacceptable. But we also know that Sarah got violent with George, which is also unacceptable. And what we don't know and can't know, because George is no longer here to tell us, and when he was alive, he didn't tell the officers completely. He did say, she hit me first, or she hits me, but he didn't go into any long narrative about what happened specifically during those times that the officers were called out to the townhome. That being said, I don't think that anybody would disagree, including Sarah herself, that the relationship that existed between George and Sarah was toxic, fueled by alcohol, violent at times. But there were also, I'm sure, as with everybody, there were good times too. I do think that, particularly in the body worn footage or the body cam footage, that George did leave multiple times. Sarah has testified that George left multiple times. What's up for debate is how often, because Sarah's testimony is that George would hound her and she would go get him. But there is evidence in the body worn camera footage that that's not accurate, that there were also times that Sarah begged him to come over. It's never easy. It's never black and white when you're dealing with human beings. There's tons of gray area. But what is really at the heart of the matter, what is really the jury is to decide is, in that moment on February 23rd, 2024, were Sarah's actions justifiable based on all of the evidence? And I would submit that, following the letter of the law, they are not. First and foremost, the event that preceded everything, which is the laughing and the joking, we don't know what changed, right? Because we only have Sarah and we have some very short videos, and obviously they don't show everything. But at some point it did change. At some point, Sarah, by her own admission, in the 11 minutes in between the two videos, hit him, poked him. It doesn't matter. She used a bat, period, end of. And then she went upstairs and went to sleep. She says unintentionally. Based on science, when a human being is in a situation where they have the fight, flight, or freeze response, okay, there is an incredible amount of adrenaline that goes through your body. That's just biological. And as anybody knows, when you haven't it's okay, so she's pumped, she's full of adrenaline. She's afraid. And moreover, one of the reasons she wanted to keep him in that suitcase, in her own testimony, is that she knew if he got out, he would be mad and she would be hurt. That's what she testified to. But she didn't call for help. She did call Brian. We don't know what that conversation really entailed. Brian doesn't remember, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to rely on Sarah's memory of the events because it's shoddy at best. Sarah has a memory like Swiss cheese. There's holes all in it. And the times that she does remember and can remember in vivid detail actually don't make sense. She doesn't remember taking the picture of the suitcase. She doesn't remember recording the first video, and she doesn't remember recording the second video, but she clearly remembers every single thing that occurred in those 11 minutes in between the two videos. Like, logically, that doesn't make sense. So we'll just have to see how it goes. We'll have to see what how the jury weighs all this evidence out. Now, as for what took place yesterday in the courtyard at the courthouse. So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And there was like, it wasn't like a protest or anything. It was just sort of a demonstration. And I caught a little bit of it. And there were domestic violence survivors speaking about their experiences. And that's what happened yesterday. See, the thing is that Sarah we know because she did it many, many times. In fact, in June of 2019, when George violated the no contact order, she called 911 multiple times. When the last incident of police involvement occurred in, I believe it was August of 2019, Sarah is the one that called police. She called 911. Sarah called 911 almost every single time. And so why she chose not to do it then, no idea. No idea. I do think that if the state's expert witness had been given more time with Sarah, I do think that she would have gotten more. Well, I do think that she would have gotten more information out of Sarah that would have helped determine just exactly what's going on with Sarah Boone and her mental health. Potentially any personality disorders. And at the end, I don't even think that it would have been necessary for her necessarily to talk to her about the specific events of February 23rd, 2024. But she would have had more time and the opportunity to give some diagnostic tests. And I think that would have given better insight. But I want to show you guys some things that I have added to the repertoire for during testimony and things like that just to get a little bit of a break. We have this one, which frankly, I feel like I wish I would have had this during the whole trial, because there were many times when Mr. Owens was getting up and raising objections and making arguments. Speaking of Mr. Owens, before I forget, I want to talk about this really, really quickly. Okay. So we were here in the morning, right? We were witness to what was going on, the testimony, the arguments made, the way that the judge ruled, right? We all were here for that. There was some cross-examination, then they went to lunch. Do y'all know that they get back from lunch, everybody's not the jury hasn't been brought in yet. The judge is in the courtroom, Sarah's in the courtroom, the lawyers are in the courtroom, okay? And as Judge Kranick does every time, he asks, is there anything that we need to discuss before we bring the jury in? The state stands up. Mr. J says, no, Your Honor. Mr. Owens stands up. Yes, Your Honor. And proceeds to make the exact same argument that he had made that morning. And the whole crux of it was she used a term that is both a diagnostic term and a legal conclusion term. She used the term battered spouse syndrome, if I'm remembering correctly. And Owen said, that's it. That's all. She's making a legal conclusion. And I was like, I mean, it would be like objecting every time somebody used the word guilty while they were talking during testimony. Like, I feel guilty. Guilty is a legal conclusion. That's what they vote on as a jury. Guilt, not really innocence. They either find them guilty or not guilty, which is an acquittal. So that's like saying you cannot use the word guilty because
Welcome, be seated. Thank you.
Owens was like stuck on the worst Groundhog Day
We're back on the
loop.
record, case number
of all
2020
time.
CF 2603, State of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Let me get appearances for counsel, starting with counsel for the state.
Steve Castro on behalf of the state. William J. for the state.
James Owens for Sarah Boone.
Tony Henderson for Sarah Boone.
Ms. Boone is still seated at counsel's table. Are we ready to go ahead and bring in our jury at this time? State.
Yes, sir.
Defense.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's stand and bring.
Let's stand. Okay, so summa cum laude BSN says there's a motion questioning how Owens and his team is getting paid due to it being a conflict of interest. They want to make sure Sarah did not give them legal rights to a book. Okay, this is, so what the deal with this is, okay. The entire team, aside from the expert witnesses that testified and the private investigator, are working pro bono. Okay. The allegation is, and this is what Mr. J is trying to ascertain, is if Sarah signed over her life rights, is that a conflict of interest? Does she understand what it is that she's doing? Okay. It's not inherently a conflict of interest for that to have occurred. As long as Sarah is aware of the decision that she made and the consequences of that decision. So what it's really about is preserving and making a record for appeals purposes so that Sarah cannot come back later, say she's convicted. She cannot come back later and use the fact that Mr. Owens, she signed her life rights over to Mr. Owens. And because of that, it has now become a situation where it was ineffective assistance of counsel, that he wasn't keeping her best interest in mind as his client in proving her innocence, right? And putting and mounting a what's the term they use? Mounting a defense, right, for her. So she can still come back and use ineffective assistance of counsel, and she can even still try and use ineffective assistance of counsel as it pertains to the life rights. It just won't be, the life rights part won't be successful. That's what they're attempting to do. It's not inherently a conflict of interest. It's not inherently a bad thing, but it can be.
Bring in our jury.
I'm going to check the docket and see what the follow-up is on this, by the way. And I think that's a lot of the reason why, it's one of the reasons why Judge Kranick is consistently asking Sarah if she's satisfied with her defense, if she's spoken to her team of lawyers, if she agrees with if she's aware of the strategy, if they've spoken to her about the strategy. Yikes on bikes. This is probably the worst bedhead yet. This is where's MK Leon? He's going to be bummed he missed this. This is the worst day of bedhead yet.
Jury entering.
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury?
Yes.
All right, members of the jury, you can be seated. Members of the jury, good morning. Welcome back to 12 Alpha of the Orange County Courthouse. Just again, if you could raise those hands, confirm you complied with the court's instructions. All right, all hands have been raised. Thank you very much. Members of the jury, before the state continues with their evidence presentation today, I just have a couple of questions to go over with you. Yesterday, there was an event in the courtyard of the Orange County Courthouse. Did anyone happen to observe that event? If you did, please raise your hands at this time.
What do you mean by observe?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay. Did anyone happen to hear anything during that event? All right. And record reflects no hands have been raised.
I'm so glad that you popped in and because did her lice have a cake party last night? Somebody had a was going to be so upset if you had missed this. In fact, I considered taking a screenshot of her hair just for you so that I could show you later because I know I knew you'd have jokes. I'm so glad you're here and I'm glad you didn't miss it. All right, here we go.
Did anyone see anything during that event? All right, juror number 2, first row. Thank you, ma'am. Did anyone participate in that event? I can reflect no hands have been raised. Did anyone receive any writings or review any material from that event? I can reflect no one has raised their hands. Can the parties approach for a moment?
Okay, so the way that I watched yesterday, I don't think the jury would have stopped to even entertain that demonstration yesterday because they had just let the jurors go. Okay. And then they were talking about scheduling, and we're talking about within 5 minutes of letting the jury go. And they're saying,
members of the jury, I'm going to send everyone out except for juror number 2 in the first row. We've
uh-oh.
got a couple follow-up questions for you individually, ma'am. Same instruction I've given you all previously. Please don't conduct any independent
Hold
investigation
on, I'll tell you
or
in a
research
second,
as to the
Humanimal.
person, places, things, or charge involved, and don't have any discussions amongst yourselves or anyone else, and we'll bring you back in as promptly as possible. Thank you.
Okay, so Humanimal, there was a demonstration yesterday at the courthouse because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And it wasn't anything directed at Sarah Boone necessarily or George. It had nothing to do with this case. It was just, it was
Juror in seat 2 on the first
Hold on
row
a
from
second.
right to left.
It was about domestic violence survivors telling their stories. The part that I saw. All right, here we
It
go.
advised, based on the court's question, that you had observed something. And you said, what does observed means? And instead of getting that out in front of every other juror, we just want to have that individual conversation with you now. So tell me what it is that you saw or heard or anything yesterday in the courtyard yesterday.
When we were walking back from lunch and we saw that they were gathered, and I asked the deputy if he knew what was going on, and he said it was somebody talking about domestic violence.
Okay. And you said we were walking. Who's we?
Another juror. I don't want to say her name.
Okay. All right. Is that a juror that was on our panel here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you recall where they may have been seated?
No, in the back over there.
Okay. Do you recall what color her hair was?
Yes.
What?
Would you like me to tell you?
Please.
Dark brown or black?
Is it the shorter juror? Okay. Thank you very much. State, any further questions?
And after you were told what was going on, then what happened?
I walked back in.
All right. Did you hear any of the speakers?
I couldn't hear anything. No.
Anything further from the defense?
Ma'am, did that affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
Can the parties approach for a moment?
No, I think they just want to double check because this case is
We appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and bring in the balance of the panel. You can just hang out where you're at, okay?
they all brought this up. Okay, both the state and the defense were concerned and they felt it appropriate to poll the jury as to did they see anything, hear anything?
We
If
stand
so,
for you.
what?
You do not need to stand. We stand for you.
All of that. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think that it's just it's out of an abundance of caution. That's it. Oh, what's going on in the chat? There's some gossip. Let me look. I'm
State, you
caught up.
recognize our jury. Defense, do you recognize our jury? All right, y'all can be seated. Thank you. Again, members of the jury, if I could see those hands, you complied with the instructions during that really short break. Record reflect all hands have been raised. Thank you very much. Mr. J, you may proceed, sir.
Permission to publish from States 21, which was previously marked as P for identification.
You may proceed, sir.
Again, this is a DVD exhibit with two folders in the main directory. One entry is in a folder called Attachments. Another is a PDF labeled Extraction. For the record, it is 108 pages, and the entire document will go back to the jury, and there will be a laptop provided to them to utilize this exhibit.
These are not
For
going to be
purposes of
videos.
publication, I'm going to go by page number and date, unless
Pardon me, Mr. J. I don't want to overtalk you or interrupt you. So these are text messages that were retrieved from Sarah's phone. I don't understand Mr. Owen's confusion about these. He was made aware of this last night. He had the opportunity to look those over and well, I'm over Mr. Owens. Anyway, here we go.
something requires more specificity. And for to and from, I'm going to just use the name of the contact if one exists or the phone number if one doesn't. On page
I've been
one,
seeing you this, hold on.
creation time for note.
I've been seeing you this whole time, Mel, whatever, but you know me, I like to play hard to get. Here you go.
7:49, asking Jorge or George not to be despicable to me, making more drink after he guzzled his and I shared mine. On page 2, date March 8th, 2018. You are now in a relationship with Jorge or George on Facebook. Metadata entry 100014, etc. for Jorge Torres to Sarah Boone, owner. Page 3, May 21st, 2019, from 407-716-8684 to Melissa. And he can still live here, correct? Or until I decide to finally get him out if he doesn't clean up his act after tomorrow. On page 9, May 30th, 2019, from a contact labeled as Mom, Jorge or George, to 407-716-8684, which I will just refer to as owner in future references. Where is my clippers in the gray box? From owner to mom, Jorge, all capitals, dumpster, separate message, like you, separate message, so is your 2 shirts, separate message, no more Rick and Morty, a response from contact mom, Jorge, to owner, okay. From owner to mom, Jorge, Lucas cried when he saw the adventure fund was gone, thank you, no wonder you're out, fuck off. From owner, he's the one that broke it because you took it. From owner, wanted to go on an adventure. On to page 10. From owner, be proud, feel good. You made my, quote unquote, our son cry. Cheese stick, Lucas, your kids, get the fuck out of my life and my sons. No one, spinster, good, for nothing, dumpster diver, that's what you are, and the rest of you. Later on this same page, owner to mom, Jorge, get all of you, mean, selfish, fuck all you, your firstborn is a joke. Going on to page 11, same date of May 30th, 2019. From owner to mom, Jorge, get the fuck out of my life. Lucas 2, bad influence. From Jorge to owner, I am, as you can see, go drink your life away. From owner to mom, Jorge, your kids are too. Yuck. Shucks, I only have 1. Beaters, your 3 together. Yuck. Going on to page 12, from owner to mom, Jorge, still dated 5/30/2019. Gross, and all the time, gross. Mom, Jorge to owner, I love that guy. I love that guy. You're the one who kicked me out. Owner to Jorge, mom, finally. Get your shot together and check me out in 2 to 3 months. Hope you're there. Unless I find someone better. Shit. Together. From mom, Jorge to owner. Are you serious? Are you serious? Owner to mom, Jorge. That's what happens? No. Mom, Jorge to owner. I'm helping out dad right now. Call you in a few. Owner to mom, Jorge. Can you help me put out, fuck off? Jorge, mom to owner. How? No problem. From 267-216-5170 to owner. Damn. You can only talk when you're drunk and talking shit. Owner to the previously mentioned 267 number. Stop calling, texting my phone. He's not here anymore. And it's damn. 267 number to owner. NP, you didn't have to be a bitch about it. Owner to 267. Going on to page 13. Still May 30th. 2019. Yo, I like you all. He's a dick and the sheriff just left. Sorry I couldn't text back. I'll always respect you all. You know that. He's not here anymore. And yes, I am a bitch. So are you. 267 to owner. Look, I'm not here to be taking shots at you. I never called you a bitch. I said you were acting like one. I'm not going to be here going back and forth on some childish shit. Have a good night. Owner to the 267 number. Friends forever, thank you. Would love to chat sometime. Call his parents, I guess. Further down on page 13, now on to May 31st, 2019, from owner to mom Jorge. Tell Jorge to call me. I want my things he took. I have his birth certificate and propane certificate until then if he wants those back. And I have your quote unquote art box. Mom Jorge to owner, stop being petty. I did not take anything that wasn't mine, I swear. Owner to mom Jorge, you're a liar. I never can believe you from all the other lies. You stop being petty and take shit like you always do. Another one bites the dust, Jorge. Hope you're miserable like you've made everyone else. Mom Jorge to owner, I'm not lying. Owner to mom Jorge, Lucas said he won't miss you either. When I get mine back, you'll get yours. Mom Jorge to owner, I didn't take it. I'm coming over in a few to get my stuff, and I'm coming with Jean and Melissa. Going on to page 14. Owner to mom Jorge, go for it. Bring mine W. Mom Jorge to owner, I don't have anything of yours. That's why I'm coming with them so they can vary that. Owner to mom Jorge, I don't care. They're not going to babysit you because you're an asshole and got kicked out after being taken off the lease. Mom Jorge to owner, they seen what I had in my hands. Owner to mom Jorge, still don't care or believe you. I'm going to get Lucas anyway, so don't waste their time or mine. Mom Jorge to owner, exactly. Owner to mom Jorge, you were a visitor and a terrible resident, boyfriend too. Just go away unless you bring my stuff. Mom Jorge to owner, I don't have your shit, Sarah. I need my birth certificate. Owner to mom Jorge, I don't give a shit either. I worked for that birth certificate, voter's registration, and your ID card. Just because your name is on them doesn't make them yours. Even paid for them. I needed you to be a man and take care of me, not beat me, call me names, and make me feel like I'm not a person. Not giving back until I have mine. Mom Jorge to owner, whatever, Sarah. Owner to mom Jorge, next step is restraining order. Know that. You can come over here 100 times. Doesn't mean I have to open the door. Good one, Jorge. Go away. Mom Jorge to owner, whatever. Owner to mom Jorge, it's been a great day without you. Will be from now on. Mom Jorge to owner, you need to do. Owner to mom Jorge, enjoy living with your parents at 41 with no girlfriend and lonely. It was the inevitable, just like it has been before. Owner to Jorge, mom, did you take Lucas's sunglasses? Mom Jorge to owner, OMFG, no, I did not. Turning to June 2nd, page 15, 1:10:57 a.m. from owner to mom Jorge. Jorge, question mark, call me. If Jorge is with you, can you have him call me, please? Text to Mo. (1:18, 16 seconds on June 2nd. Owner to mom Jorge, I beat you to the punch. One, do the dartboard with me? Come. Owner to Mo, I know you won't answer, Mo. Tell him to come finish the dartboard with me, please. Owner to Mo, I miss him. Owner to mom Jorge, ask Jorge to call me, please, when he gets a minute. June 2nd, 7:43:40 a.m. Can you have Jorge call me, please, when he gets a chance if he's with you? 7:45 a.m. Owner to Mo. Going on to page 16, June 2nd, 2019, 10:50 a.m., 55 seconds. Owner to Mo. Hello. Can you please have Jorge call me? Willing to give back. Don't know if he's there or at parents. Really want to see him. Owner to mom Jorge at 10:52, 16 a.m. Not pursuing after 12 o'clock ever again. (12:19 p.m., 23 seconds. Owner to mom Jorge. Please call. Come over. I'll come get you. Come over, please. I need a super hug. Hugs? Please. Need. You. 6:23 p.m. Owner to Anna. He doesn't live here anymore. Call parents or Mo in response to an incoming phone call that was made at 6:10 p.m., 54 seconds from Anna to owner. Entries 9803, 9804 in the PDF timeline, June 2nd, 2019. Image 0092.heic, capture time 6:33:01 p.m. Image 0093 HEIC, captured 6:33:26 p.m. Publishing from attachments. Image _0092, metadata showing 6/2/2019, 6:33 p.m. And image or IMG _0093, metadata, date taken 6/2/2019, 6:33 p.m.
Wow. She's ripped up his birth certificate. What a peach.
6:34 p.m., 51 seconds, June 2nd, 2019. Outgoing from owner to mom Jorge. All up to you now, big boy. And for the record, those images were sent to mom Jorge at 6:34 p.m., 33 seconds. Look what you made me do. Or maybe your mom will for you. Response from mom Jorge to owner. Wow, that's really childish. Owner to mom Jorge, but effective. Mom Jorge to owner. Yeah, I see what you are doing. Did Lucas leave? Owner to mom Jorge. I'm watching shadows. Be gone for good. Minus birth certificate. Mom Jorge to owner. Okay, cool. Enjoy. Owner to mom Jorge. Am. Nice. You're not. And nice was from mom Jorge to owner. Going on to page 17. This is still June 2nd, 2019. Mom Jorge to owner. Yes, I am. You are not, though.
Okay, just to pause for a little fair use commentary and to give a little backstory into this. So these text messages are all from around the time of that last domestic violence incident that occurred between George and Sarah, in which George was arrested and charged with domestic violence and also received not one but two no contact orders, which Sarah is very aware of, because part of victim services is to notify the victim and also explain to the victim what their rights are and what all of this paperwork means. So there's that.
Owner to mom Jorge. To who? Your mom? Brothers? Not me. Mom Jorge to owner. To everyone. Owner to mom Jorge, but me. Mom Jorge to owner. I love you. Owner to mom Jorge. I'm going out at 8. Get dressed. I've given you since noon. Peace out, Boy Scout. Mom Jorge to owner. I'm coming over with a handle. I was helping Pop all day cut grass. Owner to Mom Jorge. Yay, you. Getting in the shower, then out. Bye-bye. Mom Jorge to owner.
Excuse me, can we approach the bench?
Yes.
Now, I would imagine right about now, the defense is objecting because it is difficult to know who exactly is responding coming
Objection's
from
overruled.
George's phone or George's mom's phone. If it's George
I'm already
replying,
showered and dressed. Mom Jorge to owner.
and I'm pretty sure that's the argument he's made, but you can see by the context of the conversation that Sarah is not inviting George's mother over. She's speaking to George. This is ridiculous. Nice try, Owens.
Hello? Text from Anna to owner. You're rude as hell, but okay. Owner to Anna. Your dad is a POS, but okay.
Just to give context to this conversation, Anna is one of George's daughters. And this is the type of message that Sarah thinks is appropriate to send. Again, and it can't be stated enough, Sarah Boone, you are just a peach. You are just a bowl full of cherries, ma'am.
At least you know and will stop calling. Owner to Anna. Futile. Anna to owner. CTFU as you are a piece of shit, but that's God's business, not mine. Have a good day, Coke whore. Since you like to switch it up, I'll do the same. Don't text me back either, fake ass.
All right, Mr. J skipped over a text that I think should be read, and I will read that now. But before I do, I'd like to thank Emily for gifting a membership. If you are the one that got that membership, please thank Emily Flotia. Thanks, babe. That was very, very generous, and I appreciate that. So the message that wasn't read is from Sarah to Anna. Oh no, I think you mixed me up with your mom. Going to sleep. That's what you all do to me. Make me bored and sleepy. Be brave. Alone. I like it. Be gone. Hang on, I got to push play to get rid of
Don't
this.
text me back either, fake ass.
Anna to Sarah. Girl, bye. That's what you only get your son on the weekends because you're a shitty mom. Mine, on the other hand, is fabulous. Now go suck dick for beer. We were not going to gloss over that, Mr. J. Now I understand why you wanted to, but we won't. Let's go. She's talking to Anna, who is George's daughter.
Page 20 of 108, June 9th, 2019, from owner to Phil.
Yes, Sarah Boone called George's daughter Anna a cook whore.
Philip, he's off the lease. The process has begun. Page 22, June 11th, 2019. metadata only shows to Mom Jorge.
Yes, Sarah would be the
Tell
owner.
your son he's not welcome here, taken off the lease and bound, worthless. Don't show his ugly, fucked up face around here again. Police will be called. Ask him if it was worth it and ride my bike he has. Stay Hispanic, that's what you all are. And he can watch all the porn he wants from the phone Mom gave him.
Hold on a minute. We're going to rewind that.
All are, and he will show his ugly, fucked up face around here again. Police will be called. Ask him if it was worth it and ride my bike he has. Stay Hispanic, that's what you all are.
All right, I needed to hear that stay Hispanic part because I needed to hear it, but I also needed to see it. Wow, Sarah. Hold on a second.
And he can
All right. I think they're going to read all of this, so I'll just be quiet for a second.
watch all the porn he wants from the phone Mom gave him.
Mr. J has elected not to read those. We shall be reading those. This is Jorge's mom's phone replying. Let me make sure I'm not muted. Okay, good. Be proud, spinster son of a bitch, worthless. From Jorge's mom to wait a minute. This is to Jorge's mom. Be proud, spinster son of a bitch, worthless. This is from Sarah. Good night. Thank you. God bless you. Remember, God know everything. Hold on.
And ride my bike he has. Stay Hispanic, that's
From Sarah to George's mom's phone. Ugh, like you. Hold on, remove this. From George's mom to Sarah. Thank God we are 100% Puerto Rican. Thank God, you know. You now, God love you too. Thank God, it was just a repeat. Okay.
what you all are. And he can watch all the porn he wants from the phone Mom gave him.
Oh, hold on a minute. I lie. Hold on. All right. Something about learning how to spell. I don't know. It's probably not important. My bad. You're right. Summa cum laude. The God bless is from George's mom's phone to Sarah. It's hard to tell in some of these, like that exchange. She seems to be talking to George's mom because she says your son, but I can't be 100% sure if
Page
it is.
26, June 14th, 2019, 11:38.
Excuse me, Mr. J. I can't be 100% sure if it's George's mom that's replying or George himself, just in that context, because she says, tell your son. So evidently, and I can't even believe this combination of words is going to be coming out of my mouth, but I am apparently confused, just like Sarah, unsure. Sarah and I are both confused and unsure. This day is starting off just fantastic.
56 p.m. To Mom Jorge. Wow. Congrats. Blackouts and whoring. We wanted to see him. Hot house. 7 people. Mission to work on my bike. Repeat. Candy Crush. Fuck himself. Shit job. Repeat.
This is a good question. Emily asks, curious, will there be a pre-sentence investigation after her guilty verdict? I would imagine that there would be, because I think that even with the most serious charge, if she were to be found guilty of second-degree murder, the judge has sentencing discretion. And so I think there would be a pre-sentencing investigation.
Same page, June 15th, 2019, 7:37 p.m., 48 seconds. To Melissa, just an FYI, if my place gets effed up, I'm letting you know. He's in jail. Thanks for the prompts. I'm at my ex's house. Please don't let this reflect on me as a tenant. You said to call cops. I did. He's gone. We're both proud now. I consider you my friend. Melissa.
To give you guys some context, Melissa is the apartment manager. Also, to give you further context, and I can't believe I didn't even bring this up because this is something I thought about last night, but Sarah said on almost all of the body cam footage that we saw yesterday from previous incidents of domestic violence, and we definitely saw it on the body cam footage from February 24th, 2020, that Sarah, and in her interrogation video, that Sarah was afraid of George's family. Afraid, terrified. Remember? All right, here we go.
So why was he in your apartment?
That did happen, Jesse, California. She did, in one of the body cam footage, try to hug the officer, and it was so awkward. So awkward. This is what the officer basically did.
Page 38, notes, creation time, June 26, 2019, 5:56:57 a.m. 6:14, X videos, 10:03 a.m. Sarah Banks, 5:03 Bank, 6:13, Metro activation 6:12. Skipping down, X videos, 6:2, 6:13 p.m. X videos 6:1. X videos 5:31, 9:56 a. Who's Christine? Paren FB. Going to meet up? Question. Calling her beautiful? Question. Said she thought you were avoiding her when down here. Said no, I was not beautiful. FB-nonchalant Quay. Thanks for adding me. You are exquisite. Facebook messaging Camille 6:13, 9:42. Facebook or FB Pamela Erickson sending pictures of yourself, telling her good morning 7:14, 12:13 a.m. FB-Crystal going to woo her, sweep her off her feet, going to change her mind. Luck is my middle name. Sent her pics, kiss emojis, called her beautiful after returning to the convo. Said you had to pick up your brother, sent pics of beer, sent her struts, could have been me, sent her songs but not me, messaged.
Okay, so I think what this is, remember when Mr. J asked Sarah about, he listed off a few women's names and asked Sarah if she knew who they were, and she's like, no, right? These are those girls. This, what appears that has happened here is that Sarah copied and pasted Facebook messages between George and these other women, and then is also asking him questions in between the copy paste.
Bunny kiss emojis, convo, sent puppy kiss emoji with
just FYI, Sarah, not that you'll ever have an occasion to do this again, but for Pete's sake, this is ridiculous. This is amateur hour. Take a screenshot next time, lady.
Love to take her out and see a movie. Told her about what we do in the shadows. Would love to watch Creed 2 with her. Want to snuggle with her and eat popcorn. Sent heart-hugging animal emoji. Want to play a board game with her. Asked to FaceTime call her. Called her amazing. Messaging at 7:30 a. 6:14, 6:15, 2 days. FB-Crystal liking all her posts. Quote, losing someone who doesn't respect or appreciate you is actually a gain, not a loss. Can't compare me to the next girl because there is no competition. I'm one of a kind and that's real. Continuing on to page 39, same note. I found everything on your phone, all your messenger texts, telling Christine you want to meet up with her when she's here, calling her beautiful, thanking nonchalant Quay for adding you and calling her exquisite, telling Pamela Erickson good morning and sending pictures at 12:38 a.m., messaging Camille, then the whole 2-day convo with Crystal, how dare you, and send pictures wearing my wedding ring. You're a cheating, lying scumbag. I will never trust you. Why don't you put your mugshot up, or I will, since I have your phone, and log in and tell everyone why you were in jail for the 3rd time. Let them know you beat your wife and she put you there because she couldn't take it anymore. I want nothing to do with you ever again. I've become a different person since you've been gone, with less stress, anxiety, and worry. I feel safe, comfortable, happier with you not here or seeing you at all. I can say through I do have heartbreak after going through your phone. Thank you for always proving me right. I knew when you told me your mom gave you one that you'd be back to your slimy ways. You will never change. I hope it was all worth it, all of it, including losing my debit card for the 3rd time to buy beer and cigarettes, which put you back where you belong. I know for a fact you were not worth any of it. I just can't believe after everything I've done for you, including all I did to get you out of jail, and you do this to me. This is cheating. Goes on to page 40, goes on to page 41, and ends with never truly yours. Page 42, June 26th, 2019, 8:06 p.m., 16 seconds. Outgoing from owner to Mo. Just wanted to let you know to tell Jorge I found all his messages, kissy face heart emojis with Crystal and other bitches on FB, along with all his porn after he swore to me he wasn't doing any of that anymore. I'm not doing anything more for him, and he will try and keep him in jail as long as I can. Cheating snake weasel. Ask him all about it or have your parents the next time they talk to him. I'm not anymore. So hurtful after all I've done for him. He can rot in there for all I care. Going on to page 43, to Mo from owner. And I will be there for the hearing next week and his arraignment on both charges. Peace out, fucks, AKA Torres. Same page 43, from owner to Mo, 6/26/2019, 9:59:14 p.m. Begins, hi, I was thinking if you could get out, I'd really love it if you'd take me to a movie, or we could snuggle like we do and watch Creed 2, get some popcorn and pretzels, maybe talk about what kind of other movies we like, or find a fun board game to play together. I know your favorite is Abalone. What do you think? I was also thinking the other day about how much I miss you sending me pictures of yourself throughout the day, sending me songs you wanted to hear or thought I'd like. But what I really miss are the kissy love emojis you would send, just because I really miss those, especially the ones with hearts. They'd always make me smile. I knew you were thinking about me. You do Crystal, though. Even asked her to FaceTime. What would you do if you found me having this convo with Ben or John or anyone other than you? I'd be beaten to a bloody pulp. And don't do any of these things anymore, but yet you wear your wedding ring and mine around your neck and tell me how much you love me. But you're telling this woman who looks like TPT you want to snuggle with, take out to a movie, play board games with questions, sending music, cutesy, kissy love emojis to like you used to me, telling her you want to woo her, sweep her off her feet. How do you think that makes me feel? Why don't you say that to me? Going on through the rest of page 43, page 44, including on page 44, dirty cheat, enjoy your porn and jerking yourself off secretly so your parents don't see you and your ugly new girlfriends. I can't wait to finally be with a real man, Ben, who will and has taken care of me. Can't wait to see what he's like in bed. I already know he kisses. Hope it was all worth it. I'm free. As you told Crystal in your messenger text, you're single with a little cutesy dancing dinosaur. Wow, now you really are. You're despicable. Next text is XOXO from Mo to owner. Page 50, 6/28, 2019, 10:55:47 p.m. from owner to Mo. Just know I can do so much more damage than all of you put together. Know that. Going on to page 51. Try me.
I cannot remember who it was, but there's another defendant who constantly ended sentences with "know that," and I cannot think of who it is, and it's driving me bananas. Also, to answer the question about was everybody a little nicer to their partner yesterday after watching those videos, I would like to state for the record, I'm nice to my partner every day. I mean, have you met me? I'm an effing delight. But yes, I even talked to my husband about those videos because I can see the video and see it for what it is and feel for George, but never have I cried. And I did have like a little bit of some kind of watery fluid substance come from my eyes just for, I just was shocked.
Page 72, July 20th, 2019, 11:34 p.m. from Janice to owner. No metadata, but from Janice. Sorry it's so late. I just read your text. He seemed fine when I saw him at your apartment this morning. He answered the door right away, but was quite bummed out that he overslept. But I was okay and told him, no problem, just get ready and come to work in about half an hour. Then I texted your phone and asked if he would rather work the afternoon shift and get some sleep, but he never answered, so I have no idea where he is or what he's doing. What happened last night, he had a black eye. He said it was new because I asked him and I told him to put makeup on it. He said he had that taken care of. Did you two get in it again? He acted like when I told him he had a black guy, at first he didn't know what I was talking about. I guess he kind of blacked out. You can call me back if you want. (11:30 p.m., 38 seconds. From owner to mom, Jorge. Janice just called me looking for Jorge and she's pissed. Congrats.
Literally not what Janice said at all. But here we are again with Sarah telling lies Whatever. I believe it, Jesse, California. I mean, she is, man. Like,
Page 82.
you know, those photographs of Sarah's injuries made me soften towards her a little bit, but that, and I do feel for her if those injuries occurred in the way that she says they did, but I also feel for George.
821, August 21st, 2019. From Jorge to owner. I love you, my friend, my love, my queen, my everything. Your Honor, that concludes everything I'm going to publish to the jury on this exhibit.
Judge, will we approach that?
Yes.
No, Mr. Owens, you cannot approach the bench. Here we go. Like, what is the problem now, Mr. Owens? Let's see. Sarah just seems okay. Hold on a minute. So a lot of people have asked, about George's family. I know for sure that this gentleman here is one, and I know that from seeing him on the stand testifying. I am not sure who the other people are sitting there behind the prosecution's table, but they're likely George's family as well. And I'm so glad to see that his family is there, but also sad to see that his family is there because of the reason that they're there. They're there because George is no longer living. And it's just sad. And I will say this, regardless of what the verdict is, which, you know, Sarah's not going to be acquitted, but I don't know exactly what the jury is going to end up determining. It won't matter in the long run because nothing is going to bring George back. And that's sad. His family will miss him for the rest of their lives.
The jury, thank you for your patience. I just have a short instruction to read to you. Members of the jury, the state showed you portions of what was entered into as State's Exhibit 21. It is not the entirety of State's Exhibit 21. The entirety of State's Exhibit 1 will go back to you into the deliberation room with a laptop for you to review all the exhibits and text messages and the total conversations over and above what was highlighted by the state. With that, State, do you have any other witnesses, evidence, or testimony to provide?
Your Honor, at this time, the state rests its rebuttal case.
Okay. Anything further from the defense? You want to approach?
I just think we have some issues outside the presence of the jury.
Here we go.
Okay.
I have one thought, though, that requires a quick vote.
Come on up.
Here we go. They were literally just up there. Everybody was aware that the state was going to rest its rebuttal case after the presentation of these text messages. And do you think that Mr. Owens said, thinks ahead of time and says, whatever things that we need to address, let me just go ahead and tell the judge that there's some things that we need to address outside of the presence of the jury, right? So that when the state does rest their case or their rebuttal case, the judge can do things accordingly and get the jurors, back to the deliberation room, take a break, whatever it is that he deems appropriate for whatever the issue, which I would imagine is actually a non-issue, but Owens, sometimes when I listen to Owens make his argument, this is the face I make. I also have my hair fixed like the mayor from Whoville as well. I just,
to the persons, places, things, or charge involved in this case, and do not have any discussions amongst yourselves or anyone else about them. We'll bring you back in as promptly as possible. Thank you.
oh my goodness. I feel like
Welcome,
after
Steve. Thank
this,
you.
Sarah Boone will be adding Excels at prison.
The state
to her
has
LinkedIn.
rested. Mr. Owens, do you have any intention on putting on a sir rebuttal in this case, sir? Yes, sir.
May I have a moment? You,
Judge, we did not intend to put on a sir rebuttal for the defense.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Boone, I've got a
Wow.
couple of questions to go over with you, ma'am. You were previously sworn this morning. You've had the opportunity to
oh my gosh, I'm going to
review
go find that
and
koala bear
participate in the
video.
trial. You've had the opportunity to review the rebuttal case as provided by the state. You've had the opportunity to review and listen to that evidence and witness any cross-examinations as it relates to the state's witnesses in their rebuttal case. Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you in this matter?
Definitely.
And are you still on board with the strategy that has been utilized in your defense?
Yes.
Now, your lawyers yesterday told the court that they may want to put on a sir rebuttal, which would be a limited rebuttal to the evidence presented by the state in their rebuttal, both yesterday and today.
Rebuttal
The
to a
lawyers have
rebuttal.
indicated that they do not intend on doing that. Similar to other conversations we've had, ma'am, I don't want to know specifics. I just want to know if you and your lawyers have had these conversations. Have you had a conversation with your attorneys about putting on a sir rebuttal or a reply in response to the state's rebuttal?
Yes.
You had that conversation.
Yes.
Are you on board with the strategy employed by your lawyers that they are not seeking to put on a sir rebuttal in this case?
I am.
Okay. All right.
Does the
Is
sir
there anything
rebuttal
else that
include
we need to
Pop-Tarts?
address state?
Judge, you remember you were going to say?
Yes, thank you, sir. Ms. Boone, at the conclusion of the state's presentation of State's Exhibit 21, Mr. Owens had approached and had advised the court of some objections, specifically with regard to the co-ownership or co-usage of the phone.
Told
The
y'all.
court is not permitted to comment on the evidence. And your lawyer was seeking an instruction from the court to advise our jury that both you and Mr. Torres had access to that cell phone. I am prohibited from commenting on the evidence. Now, that doesn't prevent your lawyer or the state from speaking about that in their closing arguments. Just as a matter of law, I am not able to advise the jury as to what that evidence is. The second request pertained to the state moving from place to place through those 108 pages, moving from timestamp to timestamp. The state chose to present that evidence in that manner, which is why I gave that instruction to the jury that not the entirety of Exhibit 21 was provided to them as to what the state produced, and they'll have to have the opportunity to review that in its entirety when they go to deliberate. Do you have any questions about that so far?
So far, no.
Okay. The last
there be
portion,
mints?
ma'am, pertained
5,
to the cadence or
specifically.
tone in which you and Mr. Torres communicated with each other. I have no knowledge as to how you and Mr. Torres communicated in text form as
Hang
to
on a
what
minute,
the
Jackie. I
tone
will in
was
just a
behind
sec.
those words. Your lawyer advised me that there was an objection and you had some concerns as to the way Mr. J may have read those text messages to the jury. I found that the way that he read them was benign, in a flat tone, and did not exacerbate or excite any of the language that was in there. He had read them in as a monotone way as possible in presenting to the jury, and I didn't notice any changes in his cadence or heightening or lowering in the volume or tense or tone utilized in presenting that information to the jury.
You're lucky it wasn't me reading those text messages, Sarah Boone, because as people are well aware of, I love nothing more than a good dramatic reading. And I have read all the things, Sarah Boone, in a dramatic reading, including your letters. And I believe my chat will attest for the record that those letters were read with the spirit in which they were intended coming from you. All the snark, all the whining, all the complaining, all the high horsing, all of it came in. That's all.
Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
Surprise.
Anything else we need to address, Mr. Owens?
No, sir.
Anything else we need to address, State?
No, sir.
Okay. How would we like to proceed with the charging conference? Do we want to bring back on our jury? It is 10:33 and advise them, this is when we think you want to come back because we're going to be addressing the law to provide to you. And that's something I need to do outside of your presence. How do we want to proceed at this time?
I think hopefully at 10:33 to about noon should do it for 3.6F. It is convoluted, but I think the parties have narrowed it down to really just a couple of things.
Okay.
So I would suggest saying something along the lines of, we have to finish up getting the jury instructions ready for you. That's something that we have to do now after the evidence is concluded, and we'll see at 1.
I say 1:30, Judge.
Of course you do.
Because, Mr. Henderson, I know this is going to be an issue, and it's going to take a little bit of time, and then we want to go to lunch and give them a chance, because there's going to be a 3-hour speech session. I don't know if you'd give them a break.
We can and we should. Mel, whatever.
We may, depending on just the time of it.
Oh my God.
But from 1:30, that's going to go to 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. So just before 5. I think that's plenty of time in case he goes a little bit longer or I go a little bit longer.
And I still have to read the jury instructions as well. So, I mean, with 34 pages, and I read quickly, as Madam Court Reporter will advise me.
Are they going to have
Yes.
reading along with you?
Yes. So once we make all these changes, every member in the box will have a paper copy. You, Mr. Owens, and your team, along with Ms. Boone, will have a copy. The state will have a copy. Madam Court Reporter will have a copy, and I will. And I will read line by line all the way up into the 2.7 instruction.
Will the
At that point in
YouTubers
time,
have
I
a
will
copy?
stop. I will advise our jury that we're going to begin with closings. State will go, you will go, state will have an opportunity for rebuttal, and then I'll finish with the verdict and final instructions. Discharge our alternates at that time. I'll go back and thank them and give them their jury certificate forms, and then we'll release the jury. I'll have a final colloquy with your client, and then we'll review all the evidence to send back with the exception of the baseball bat.
And perhaps in case they haven't inferred, let them know that they're getting the case tonight, so make plans to stay later.
Yes.
How late are you going to keep them?
9 o'clock is the norm. I may, because it's the weekend and it's Friday, I may seek special dispensation from the chief to stay longer. I plan on communicating with the chief during the lunch hour as to that issue.
I think that would be great.
If she'll let me. I don't know if it's at her discretion. I know I have to seek approval after 7. I'm not worried about that. I know. And I would prefer them to work late into the evening if they're on board with doing that, rather than coming back Monday. Okay. All right. If you all would be so kind to give me a moment so I can go back up to chambers, get with Ms. Barrios, and I'll give paper copies of everything from the revisions that we made this morning. Let's go ahead and bring back in our jury. And I agree with Mr. Owens. I'd rather us waiting on them than them waiting on us. So I think 1:30 is the way to fly. Let's go ahead and bring back in our jury.
Give me just a second, because, hold on a second, I'm gonna pause this. This is what I imagine is going on in Sarah Boone's head currently. Really, everybody at the defense table. So without further ado, here we go. has her own. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Excuse me, my little sweet drop berry. Even has Sarah Boone's hairdo, y'all. It's all askew. Poor little koala. This is how Sarah woke up this morning. You know, poor little koala just had taken a nap in the tree in the neighborhood, not bothering anybody. And then another bigger, meaner koala comes along. And suddenly, ousted out of bed, hair askew, and this happens. Oh, it's poor little baby.
Yeah, poor little thing's kicked out of the tree. You can come to our tree.
Don't try to reason with me, human. I don't care about your tree. I want that tree.
Plenty of trees.
No,
Come on.
there might be plenty of trees, but that one is mine. You know,
Remaining.
I was there first. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh! Poor little thing fell just right. Don't make me use hands. You about to catch these hands. Oh, this part breaks my heart. Y'all ever had a day like that where you just want to fling yourself down and just be like, Now let's, excuse me. It's like they're like little children. I just love koalas because the reason I like koalas so much is because outwardly they're stinking adorable, right? But they're really vicious. Like you don't want to catch no smoke from a koala bear. And I never knew that they had an alternate name, which is drop bear, but Tori from, oh, she's got a different channel name now, and it's at the tip of my tongue. Mel, help me out. What's Tori's channel now? I found Tori and Mel through their parodies that they used to do together of a couple of content creators narration of a case, I guess is the best way to put it. And the minute I saw Tori and Mel, I fell in love right from the start. They made me laugh so hard. And you guys know the way to Jen Lou's heart is to make her laugh. Oh, I should have warned you. Jesse, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry to Jesse's pet rats. I'm sorry. You're not under attack in real life. It's just on the TV. It's not happening in the now. I just love koala bears. Okay. So now, while we have a moment, let's go back. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit so we can see the beginning of this video, and we'll go back and finish up those videos that we were watching of Sarah Boone. All right. And George. All right, here we go. Oh, thank you, Nay. I appreciate that, babe.
Sirens.
Well, before we start, I just want to say this. So Nay says, yes, go sub to her and watch her Johnny Depp trial coverage. It was the best time. It was the best time. She invited me up, and I was up there just in time for the verdict. I had the absolute best time with Tori. She has a fantastic chat. She is a fantastic person. Sub to Mel, whatever. Mel and Tori together are just hilarious. And separately, they're just hilarious. Now, my personal favorite parody that Mel whatever does is Motherfucking Lynette. I enjoy her. I think you will too. So please go sub to Mel whatever and Tori when Nay brings back their links. Okay, so let's get back to this.
Silence and silence and silence. And this cop car.
How about you get an umbrella and call me Camille underneath it?
You know, how about we forget about that? No, we won't.
I'll never be.
How about we keep going on?
So clearly, this is a conversation referencing those Facebook messages that Sarah copied and pasted rather than just taking screenshots and sent to George. They're having a conversation about this. It's Sarah, unlike taking those videos and those pictures of the suitcase with George inside of them, which she's forgotten that she did, but we'll never forget Camille or Camilla, as it were.
Okay, how about this?
Thank you, Neat and Nay. I
When
appreciate
you
that, babe.
We don't listen to none of that. I don't want to hear sirens. It's just beep, 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 all that, whatever. I want to listen to it. It's every single day. Beeping and we hear enough of it out here in reality.
Are you gonna be nice tonight?
Yes. Yes. I promise you, I used to
Go for a walk.
by myself.
Yes.
No.
Go for a walk.
No, I'm just gonna chill out. If that's the case, I'll just chill out.
So I think one of the big takeaways from this particular video, at least in my opinion, is the tone that Sarah uses. It is a demanding, commanding tone. She's not saying, it's not a suggestion, right? There's definitely exclamation points, probably several of them following that go for a walk. And it's likely in all caps and bold. That's if Sarah's voice in this video were a font, it would be Montserrat extra bold.
So much like this.
If you're not
Never be a woman.
If you're not familiar with Montserrat extra bold, you literally cannot use lowercase letters when you use that font. So I think if Sarah Boone in this video, if her voice was a font, that's what it would be.
How can I be a woman?
Don't ever.
I can't. But I can somewhat understand.
Don't ever.
Oh.
I can somewhat understand. Somewhat understand. I can somewhat understand, yes, where you're coming from. But when you have a child and it's like right now, this is too much. But we had a blast with him. Amazing.
Then you got out of sorts and pushed me, and he stole my phone and called Brent.
Why is it that I got out of sorts?
You pushed me.
I pushed you. I didn't push you. How do I get out of sorts all of a sudden? I don't want to hear it.
You drink too much and you're upset.
Thanks so much.
Go get your fuck card shit.
What are you talking about?
Your retard paper. Don't hit women.
Have I hit you? No. So where are you going with this?
Now, I just want to say something here for fair use commentary. You know, now that I'm watching this, and this is not the only this is not just the second time that I've watched this. I've actually watched these videos a couple of times because, you know, the first time when you watch them, you're just so like, oh, what is happening here, right? So you're kind of like, what? And then, you know, when you watch things more than once, you notice things, and I did briefly consider: is George is he confused because he genuinely doesn't know what Sarah's talking about, meaning he didn't hit her or push her? Or is George confused because he's been drinking, and when whatever happened, whatever allegedly happened occurred, he was also drinking and doesn't remember it due to the alcohol? But now that I've watched this, this has been, I don't know, probably the third, fourth, maybe fifth time I've seen this. I'm leaning more towards actual genuine confusion. I don't think he knows what Sarah is talking about because I don't think it happened.
I'm turning this off.
Tell me whatever it is that you have off. Okay. You can film me, take a picture of whatever you want.
You can tell you're automatically
I'm
drunk.
not doing.
Do I forget about it? No, I don't.
I'm not doing anything to you.
No, I
Sarah.
never do.
I'm not doing anything to you, Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Sorry.
Hearing that phrase, "That's my name, don't wear it out," in this video and also in the suitcase video, there's a lot of context there for me. And it just seems to me that while Sarah would say that she was joking, I think that other people, other people would, including George, would perceive it not as joking, but as taunting. And the taunting is mean-spirited. And that is what I think. I think that I think she taunted George. I think it started out taunting. I think she taunted him about being able to even fit in that suitcase in the first place. She's just cruel.
Anita, I'm not doing anything to you.
Yes.
It's not yet. I will not.
Okay. Hold on a second. There's more videos than that. And the one that I really want to show you guys is not this one. Ow, ow, ow. Hold on a sec. This is today's. I want to show you guys yesterday, because there are more videos that were played that I guess Court TV didn't want to put in that together. So hold on a second. Let me just find it. Give me just a second, you guys. All right. All right. So odd that when you're actually watching the stream live, it has closed captions, but afterwards it doesn't. I don't understand that, but here we go.
Proceed, sir.
Actually, I believe that first compilation was Law and Crime. My bad.
ing_1011.move. Metadata shows date modified 2/2020, 11:42 p.m.
I understand. This is what happens when you're going upstairs to ask for where my car keys are. Because it takes a little time. Where are my car keys? Where are my car keys? Where are my car keys?
Where are you with them? What are you talking about?
No, they're not. You took them.
Sarah, I didn't take your car keys.
Where are my car keys?
Where they at? All the time. What in the world are you talking about? They're in the, they're there with a,
No, they're not.
Sarah. They're at the.
No, they're not. You took them. And why don't you walk away with them?
Why would I take your freaking car keys?
Oh, you're not gonna curse now?
You see, to me, these videos and the TV video, I don't know another way to say this, but they remind me of the audio recordings that Amber Heard took of her and Johnny Depp. And they seem like they're intended, like Amber really thought when she entered, because like the majority of those videos and audio recordings that were played during the Depp Heard trial came from Amber Heard. And why she thought that those audio recordings or videos showed that Johnny Depp was abusing her, I will never know. But that's what this feels like.
What are you talking about?
You took my car keys.
I didn't take your car keys.
You did.
Movie starting with file name B51, long file name. Metadata shows 12/29/2019, 4:04 p.m. modified.
I'm gonna go to court and I'm gonna tell the judge, listen, my fiance has nothing to do with it.
Okay, so remember back during the hearing whether Sarah it was really about the whether the interrogation video was going to come in, whether or not Sarah was coerced. And Mr. J talked about a video that was on Sarah's phone that shows Sarah coaching George about what to say. This is that video. Okay. So I just wanted you guys to know the context because, you know, context is important. And I wanted you guys to know that that's the context of this video. Okay. So here we go.
It's all my fault. We were both drinking and it got out of hand. Isolated situation, it has never happened before. I love my fiance. She's a good woman. Never been in trouble in her life. She has a 7-year-old son that she loves and cherishes.
A blind Boston Terrier.
She has 2 dogs. One is blind, one is deaf. She goes around and she's driving and sees an animal that's injured. She'll stop in the middle of the street, no matter what kind of traffic it is, just to make sure that that animal doesn't get injured any more than where it already has. We both love each other. We both live together. Yes, every relationship has their arguments, but we are not the type of people that you guys are portraying us to be.
She
Especially her. So please, if you can,
dismiss
this case,
Close.
drop it. She is not the type of person.
Good person.
She's a great person.
Angel.
I know she'd be an angel. She's close to it.
Best thing that has ever happened to you.
Yes, ma'am. And I love you to death. And I hate that we're going through this right now.
Sonnet.
What?
And they did.
Good, I love you, baby. What else you want me to say? God will prevail and He will take us out of this situation. Love you.
That'll be it for today, Judge.
All right. Get your lights back on.
Hang on just one second. Okay. So there you have it. Those are the videos. I think that probably above and beyond all of the evidence that has been submitted in this case, all of the exhibits, all of the testimony, I actually think that, like I said this morning or earlier this morning, that the videos tell the story. Those videos and the suitcase videos, I think they sum up this case perfectly. It's just, it's sad. It's sad. And I really think that Sarah believes that those videos show her as the victim, show her in a good light, show George in a negative light, show George as the problem. And she's delusional. It's sad. So they're not going to be back with the jury until 1:30. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break. And then I will be back with you guys. I'll just start at 1:30. That's what I'll do. I'll start at 1:30. So that's like 2 hours from now. So anyway, you guys, thank you all for being here. If you haven't done so already, please give your girl a thumbs up on the stream, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the afternoon, and I will see you all back here for jury instructions and closing arguments at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Bye, you guys.